Well, the best thing here is these people that arrived down there. We've got some problems with the policing that we're going to move on to. We've got problems with the policing we're going to move on to. But the amount of the people that turned up there were treated slightly different from everybody else, and there seems to be a little bit of weird detachment and entitlement amongst our revolutionaries.
Ma'am, what happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced?
By the police.
And what happened? You were trying to go inside the Capitol?
I made it like a foot inside, and they pushed me out, and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Thank you.
Can you believe it? Can you believe that?
I mean,
I'm robbing a bank and someone's hit me for trying to get in there. It just goes on and on.
I mean, did Che Guevara carry on like this when they were taking Cuba? You know, someone spat at me. I mean, what was she expecting?
You're a criminal.
Yeah, but this is the thing. There was almost a sense of entitlement there. Like, what's going on? It's a revolution. My God, like I said, it was a revolution with selfie sticks. It was the most pathetic attempt. And, you know, even though what they did was horrendous, the beginning of it, you saw them walking in, and after smashing all the windows, getting inside, they just started taking selfies. They're the most brainless people in the world. They are as stupid and brainless as the guy that they've modelled themselves on, their glorious leader. That's the thing, he's attracted them. But yeah, this sense of entitlement, like say, shall we say, had she been not white, as you noticed, Elizabeth from wherever she said she was from.
Knoxville.
She was a white lady, and she's complained. She's got maced at the beginning of her revolution, trying to storm the Capitol building. And let's just say, I have a funny feeling it wouldn't have been the same if she'd have been a different skin colour. I think everybody's aware of that, and there have been some real issues mentioned that we'll show a video on the aspects of this where it really falls down the policing. A lot of complaints about that, and we can have a chat about that right after this.
I think a lot of us have some questions, a lot of questions, not just for Donald Trump. I've got no questions for Donald Trump. He's an insurrectionist. There are no questions. He should be arrested today. He should be sent to jail today for insurrection against the United States of America. But I do wonder this morning why they weren't better prepared for this. Why weren't the Capitol Hill police better prepared for this? Why wasn't the city of Washington, D.C. better prepared for this? Why wasn't the National Guard better prepared for this? Why weren't law enforcement agencies all across the region better prepared for an invasion against the People's House, against the world's greatest deliberative body? And for those of you who have never been up on the Capitol, I spent quite a bit of time there. And even as a member of Congress, I had to have my ID to get in. If I walked across an adjoining street when no cars were on that street, but I didn't have a walk sign, Capitol Hill police would scream at the top of their lungs and tell us all to get back on the sidewalk. When I was walking to a State of the Union address across the street from the Capitol, 5 Capitol Hill police started screaming at me, telling me I had to clear the area. And yet, yesterday we saw some of these same Capitol Hill police officers, who, by the way, I never complained when they were tough. I want them to be tough. I want them to protect the People's House. Yesterday, we see them patting terrorists on the back. We see them taking selfies with people who are committing an insurrection against the United States of America, politely opening the door for terrorists who had scrawled on the door, "Murder the media," who had broken through this glass, letting them just walk through, letting these Trump supporters walk through freely and politely opening doors to the insurrectionists, and then letting the terrorists walk out of the same Capitol they had laid siege to and threatened the lives of members of the House and members of the Senate who they said they were coming to get, including Mike Pence. There has to be an investigation. How many of these Capitol Hill cops are members of Donald Trump's cult? How many?
It is a cult.
How many allowed this to happen? And I do want to know, where the hell were the D.C. police? Where the hell how did this happen? This hasn't happened since the War of 1812, when the British stormed Washington, D.C. It's obvious this was coming. Donald Trump promised this day was coming. He and his golf caddy, Dan Scavino, were putting out videos saying it was going to be wild. January 6th was going to be wild. We were warned that January 6th was going to be a dangerous day, not just in social media, not just in the media, but in our lives. People would come up to me and ask, what do you think's going to happen on January the 6th? Well, what happened was the Capitol Hill police weren't ready. The D.C. police weren't ready. The National Guard wasn't ready. Nobody was ready.
Or was it okay because they are white? I just have to ask.
Oh, my God. Please.
Because
please. No,
I don't think this would have happened with Black Lives Matters protesters.
Let me tell you something. We don't have to even go there. If these insurrectionists were black, they would have been shot in the face.
Shot in the face.
They would have been. They would have been. He's 100% correct.
We've got our man in New York, Joe, and I was talking to him last night as this was developing. And today they spoke to the Sergeant Benevolent Association, and they came up with an official statement about their views on what had gone on with the police department. Now, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks back we talked about them with Joe, and he said they are in Donald Trump's pocket because he paid so much money into them. A bit of cash.
Yeah.
So their statement was, today's activities can be contrasted by the fact that no fires were started, no looting of innocent businesses, no destruction of private property, and no city was seized. Only government property was destroyed. So they're happy. They're okay.
Okay, excuse me. The Capitol building
wasn't destroyed.
The Capitol building is made of marble.
Yeah.
What were you going to set on fire?
Well, like they said in that video,
I just wondered.
If it was a blackface there, they would have been shot.
Yeah, they would have been. They would have just gone straight in, and they would have been tear gassing everybody in sight. Anybody that even looked at them sideways or went or resisted would have been cuffed, beat up, put in a vat. And if anybody had have raised a fist to them, they'd have been shot. And that's the thing. You know what would have happened, and for some reason there were stories at the beginning of this.
There's another story here, isn't there?
Yeah, there was. The stories started to leak out as this progressed on. For the first hour, it seemed like they were just overrun, and that these people were getting in, and there weren't enough people there, which is weird because all week Trump has been asking them to go down there on the 6th to put pressure on Mike Pence to make him do the right thing, and so any numpty would have known that this was going to happen. So that was surprising. But then you hear stories, and then you see pictures leaking out where they're having selfies taken with the police
inside the building.
Then you hear that because they were wanting to get in there, rather than let them smash the doors down, they opened the doors and let them in at one point. Yeah. So then, when you saw images in the footage where they're walking in up a corridor, that I believe they were let in by a couple of policemen who went, well, it's better than them kicking the door down and doing loads of damage.
But the numbers of police on
you know?
those steps is apparently between 60 and 80 police.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I know.
For a few thousand people.
Yeah, I know. And there's an army there tonight.
You have more at a gig or a football match.
There is more. There's an army there tonight, yeah, because it's all come on top. Thank you for watching. I'm impressed. You've passed the IQ test and got this far, so let's press that button to do the last thing that helps us. It's got subscribe on it, you can't miss it, and please ring the bell for notifications of future videos.